mean,
Yeah.
could it be not in terms of laziness or availability or skilling, but simply a wage issue? Suppose you were to double wages tomorrow across the board. Do you think you will find better workers? Do you think you will find more
how do you run a
skilled
business
people?
So how will
more
the business stay
motivated
viable
people?
if you pay double or triple the wages?
No, I'm not. That's the second part of the argument. I agree with you. But so therefore, it's not an employability or an employment problem. It's probably a wage problem. We are still trying to figure that out. But the bigger issue,
and when the government wanted to double, let's say, farm incomes through a set of bills that it brought, we saw what happened.
No, but Rahul, you mentioned another thing, and I just want to come that about hurdles in the way on the way of doing business. Now, here is $1 million. Do any of you have the courage to set up a business?
No.
There are 26,100.
I take $1 million. Yes.
Whether you set up a business or not is out of the question.
Billion or million?
Million. And in what currency?
Look at our compliance.
Look at our own compliance.
Look at our compliance network. There are 69,000 compliances that a business at an aggregate has to go. There are 26,000.
Okay, one minute. Let me just shake this up a bit. I'm sorry, I'm doing this right midway. So let's look at this setting up a business. You said let's set up the business. Now, you're saying $1 million to set up a business.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
No.
10 year.
Okay, take 10.
Okay,
Let's say 10 million. 10
This
million.
is just a figure of speech.
Sir, let's look at the argument and not get into the minutiae. So let's say $10 million to set up a business. You said how many thousand compliances?
69,233.
Thousand odd compliances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of which 24,134 carry jail terms.
Okay. And you're saying 24,000?
26,134.
26,134
They carry jail terms. And then somebody mentioned that perhaps jobs, I think you mentioned that jobs don't happen at the larger level. Yesterday's economic survey shows that the major jobs are having at the large corporations level. But more importantly, it is only the large corporations that have labor laws, that have security, that give protections to labor, etc. Not your SMEs. I'm not against SMEs, by the way. I'm just putting some facts out here. And that's the reason why SME, there are 63 million enterprises in our country, of which only 1 million is in the organized sector. Now, why would anybody want to get into a sector?
63 million enterprises.
The moment you get into an organized sector from an unorganized scale, you face 400 compliances on which you have to pay about 20 lakh per annum to a labor advisor, labor consultant or other kinds of consultant. Why would anybody want to do that? You just set up another factory and stay below the regulatory radar. I think this is, to my mind, one of the easiest reforms to do, but has not been able to done. Jan Vishwas bill did come last year, but it only decriminalized 114 out of the 26,134 provisions. Now, I think this is a very easy, low-hanging fruit that the government can do. Not the budget, but the government can do and it must do.
Gautam, out of these 69,000 odd compliances, how many does the central government have to do and how many do states have to do?
I'll tell you, I don't know the upper number. Of the 26,000, 5,000 are at the union level.
5,000 at union level.
The remaining 20,000
are at the state level. But, for instance, labor is a concurrent subject. So when the union makes the law, the state governments have to change theirs on the way.
Correct.
So the government can do it. They have already made the 4 labor codes, but they haven't yet notified them. I don't understand why. I mean, this should have been done. This could have been done any time. I think the labor codes were enacted in 2019 or 20.
So if you couldn't do it with a massive majority, how are you going to do it now? So that's the fundamental question.
I just want to close here. I think Narendra Modi and the government has the conviction for reforms. They have proven it. But I think now those convictions have to be tempered with consensus. Consensus. So every time they will have to go in for a consensus. It will be a slower journey. Our expectations will have to be tempered accordingly. And I think I'm not expecting too many reforms in the next 5 years.
No, but if you don't get reforms,
No, it's
How
not
are we going to grow?
reforms. It's not
No.
exactly. So
how are we going to grow if we don't have reforms?
So that's why
I'm
now
not
it comes
setting up a
back.
shop
Now-
with
now-
69,000.
that's why when you interviewed Zaka yesterday, the economic advisor, he took such a sort of tempered view of GDP growth over the next 1 year. So then you have to start to sort of ask yourself, why is the government
What's
not
going on? Yeah.
why is the government not so gung-ho? Why isn't it actually outdoing the figures that have been put out by some of
But
these
you look
private
at the
assessors?
geopolitical
So-
context. You have two wars going on.
No, but despite that,
oil
the
prices are
the so-called foreign,
No, but where
policy
is it
think
coming? It's
tanks-
coming into your stock markets.
Exactly.
It's not your FDI,
And that is what-
direct
that is what-
investment has actually fallen
Exactly.
by about a
And-
couple of billion.
Exactly. And manufacturing has fallen.
Even further. I'm saying
13%
the point is, look,
of GDP.
I come back to this. Gautam, bear me out on this. I don't think any country in the world, large country in the world, is going to see double-digit growth for some time, given these geopolitical risks that we're seeing. We've got two wars. You have Trump coming back in November. You think he's going to be the poster boy of globalization?
So hence
of sending jobs to China and to
hence
India?
I asked
No.
Mr. Mishra a very,
there
very
are other
pessimistic
issues with
question.
that
Give
kind
me
of
hope. Give me hope,
Namely demographics.
Joanna. Give me hope, Joanna, that reforms can actually still happen.
See,
and they're not
my
flagging.
point is how much of this is dependent on geopolitical factors and how much of it can be also fueled by internal and also regional consumption. So I'm asking you, are we still going to struggle to grow at 7%, or can this government hope to grow at 9% or push to grow at 9%, and how is that possible?
So I just want to make one point, since you're still on that blackboard of compliances.
Whiteboard.
Whiteboard. These compliances are, they have degenerated into becoming tributaries for corruption. I think if you remove corruption, capital will flow. That $10 million which I offered everybody here to set up a business will translate into actual business.
So you are saying remove corruption.
I think.
Okay, let me write this here.
I think the cost of corruption today
remove
is around 10
corruption.
to 15%.
Sorry, I'm coming in the camera.
Apart from the harassment.
Corruption. And you are saying capital will flow.
That's right.
But आप कह रहे हैं कि आज भी
compliances-
system में capital will flow. आज भी system में corruption है बहुत ज़्यादा.
बहुत ज़्यादा है. Yeah. It's about 10 to 15%.
this is the biggest,
real estate prices
You know,
will fall down.
Just because the politics changes does not mean the bureaucracy changes.
Bureaucracy changes.
Remember that.
And see, I think two large things that at least that did happen, and 26 is still a huge amount, because this government, at least in the two previous terms, was very, very clear about decriminalizing quite a few, in terms of quite a few acts and offences. So that was good. And I think that needs to carry on as far as it is at the central level. See, somewhere at some point, pitting states against each other did work when you had the DPIIT's ease of doing business. That's when your Andhra and your Telangana and Gujarat and all of them kind of was vying. Now, the one big factor that's been lost out, and I know many people have said, see, earlier when you still had the planning commission, right, your development and what you were achieving was tied to basically your allocation of funds. Today, that